And we're incredibly proud to help lead the America's All-In Coalition, which is a vast group of states, cities like Charlotte, businesses, universities, healthcare institutions, museums, and other nonprofits that are all coming together to advance climate action. We'd like to welcome you to the first stop on the Cash In on Clean Energy Tour. We're here to highlight the progress that Charlotte has already made and learn how the Inflation Reduction Act can help turbocharge Charlotte's and North Carolina's already strong and burgeoning clean energy economy. I'm pleased to be joined today by Mayor Vi Lyles of Charlotte, who is herself a clean energy champion, and she helps to co-chair the America's All-In Coalition. We're also joined by Janet LaBarre, who is the president and CEO of the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance, and Sarah Fraser, the sustainability specialist with New Belgium Brewing Company, who is a part of the America's All-In Leaders Circle. We're also joined by Karen Skelton, who is a special advisor from the White House and is part of the Office of Clean Energy Innovation and Implementation. Today, we're coming up on the one-year anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act, which represents the largest ever investment in U.S. history to tackle the climate crisis, to fortify domestic clean energy manufacturing, to strengthen our U.S. energy security, slash costs for customers and businesses, and help us build healthier, thriving American communities. Importantly, these investments will provide benefits to a broad range of communities across the country. Good jobs, cleaner air, safer drinking water, and a brighter future. This afternoon, at our first Cash In on Clean Energy Tour, members of the Charlotte community and from across North Carolina are going to hear from a broad range of local, regional, and national experts about how they can harness this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to strengthen their bottom lines, our climate, and our communities. Now, I'd like to welcome our co-host for this wonderful event, co-chair of the America's All-In Coalition and all-around clean energy champion, Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles. You'll pass it off to Janet.
I got it. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am so proud to be a part of this initiative. I am so proud to actually have the opportunity to co-chair America is All In. Now, this doesn't happen easily. It means that you have to really invest, and I'm proud of our city because when we were thinking about what was going to be different or necessary for us to be able to be climate champions, we began to act with a strategic plan. And we've acted on that strategic plan, and we have made it possible for this community to be the host of this, but not only the host, but a place that you can see where real change is happening. So as co-chair, as a mayor that's committed to the coalition to climate action, I'm honored that we stand here today at Charlotte's own museum to have this event. Please know that change is necessary and it is taking place because we are going to do things that are important for the future. I want to thank the Biden administration for the opportunities that they're going to present to us. I want to thank everyone in our city for supporting the idea that we can be a sustainable community. I'd now like to introduce Janet LaBarre, who is president of the Alliance of Charlotte.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership. We are very excited to be here today on the Cash In on Clean Energy Tour as well. And because the Alliance is the voice of business, we're the regional economic development organization that serves the city of Charlotte and 14 counties across North and South Carolina. We are thrilled to be a partner. We enjoy helping to grow the economy and advocate for business. Certainly convening is in our wheelhouse. And we really work hard in partnership with the city and the county and both states to ensure that the Charlotte region is the most vibrant and innovative and healthy economy in the country for all. Companies of all shapes and sizes more and more understand that the benefits of clean energy transition will benefit them economically, and many of them have been front and center on sustainability and innovation. And North Carolina in particular has been a trailblazer in supporting and encouraging clean and renewable energy through innovative programs and policies, and we are seeing all of this work begin to pay off. There are several announcements that we've seen in recent months. There are many, many companies who are already here who continue to grow and expand. And really, that's because the Charlotte region has the talent, the assets, and the right company and industry mix to make sure that the needs of these next generation clean energy manufacturing and technology businesses are here and readily available for them. So with the help of the Inflation Reduction Act, we're going to see more and more clean energy come to Charlotte, and our current businesses are going to benefit from those clean energy upgrades. So again, we will be at the forefront of clean energy and the clean energy economy. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah.
Thanks, Janet. I am delighted to be here in Charlotte today on behalf of New Belgium Brewing Company and to talk with business and community leaders about why taking action on climate is so critical for business success. I'm also excited to be here with a lot of other companies and organizations at this workshop to learn about opportunities to invest in climate and clean energy thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act. As a business that is committed to protecting the only planet where beer exists, we are very proud to be part of the leadership circle of the America's All In Coalition. New Belgium has been in business for 32 years, and we have production breweries in Colorado, in Asheville, North Carolina, in Michigan, and in Virginia. We have about 1,500 coworkers across the country, and we were founded by a social worker who adopted a unique people-centric business model that informs every decision that we make around the brewery, including investments in climate, and has been responsible for New Belgium's success and growth and resilience over the last 3 decades. We've been engaged in decarbonization and in clean energy projects and in energy efficiency projects at the brewery for the better part of those last 32 years. We were the first wind-powered brewery in the United States back in the 1990s. A few years later, we conducted the first greenhouse gas life cycle analysis of beer that we know of in the world. And then fast forward a bit, and we have committed to some aspirational and ambitious science-based emissions target reductions. We are investing in those and making efforts towards those continually to meet those targets across our supply chain and across our operations, because we know that it's imperative to the future of our business. As we watch drought destroy the barley crops in Montana, as we watch our rivers in Colorado fill with ash from catastrophic wildfires, as we see hurricanes decimate citrus crops in Florida, and as here in North Carolina we experience challenges to the reliability of our grid due to extreme weather. We know that therefore, without a climate plan, we do not have a business plan. You may know New Belgium for brands such as Voodoo Ranger and Fat Tire, and we are the largest craft brewery in the United States now and the fastest growing one. But we still represent less than half of all the beer sold in the US, and therefore we fit very squarely in that medium-sized business category, which means that we have a medium-sized capacity to have an influence and make changes and have an impact on our supply chain and the economy when it comes to climate. That's why federal actions such as the IRA is so critical and important for us. And maybe I'll just offer a quick example of how we look to leverage the IRA at New Belgium. We operate processed water treatment plants at each of our breweries, which generate methane-rich biogas. At our Colorado brewery, we capture this biogas, create energy out of it, and that reduces our demand for energy from the grid. In Asheville, we've been looking for a similar solution that would allow us to capture and use that biogas in a way that's not cost prohibitive to the brewery. Thanks to some modifications to the investment tax credit from the IRA, we now have a solution that we're looking to implement that will allow us to capture that biogas and incorporate it into our boilers, reducing our consumption of natural gas, which is incredibly exciting for us because it can happen in a way that's not going to be cost prohibitive for the company. There's a lot of great decarbonization happening in thermal energy right now that is really exciting. It's frankly been behind the curve a little bit from the decarbonization happening in electricity, and we're very excited for how the IRA can support that innovation and how it can benefit businesses of small and medium size here in the Tar Heel State and across the country. I know that everyone here shares our vision for a sustainable future, and that the companies that are here and part of this workshop today understand, like us, that if you don't have a climate plan, you don't have a business plan. And the IRA is providing a historic opportunity for us to achieve that vision in a sustainable way. And we're excited to see how this legislation can help small and medium-sized businesses like us here in the Tar Heel State and across the country. And now I'm pleased to turn it over to Karen Skelton from the White House.
Thank you. How about some of that beer? I just got thirsty standing here. It is so great to be here in Charlotte. Thank you, Mayor Lyles, for all you've done, and Janet and Leah. I'm so excited to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act. First, I want to say thank you to America is All In, the most expansive coalition of leaders ever assembled in support of climate action in the United States. My boss, John Podesta, who is a climate advisor to the president, has enormous respect for what you do every day to build and maintain this coalition of diverse, massive amounts of support. We're so grateful for your leadership that you've already shown, led by Mayor Mike Bloomberg, Mayor Lyles, and everyone else on climate and clean energy for so much longer than our administration has even been in office. When the previous administration left the Paris Agreement, you said, "We are still in." And when the support for these incredibly important environmental protections started to be attacked, you stepped up with your climate commitments and engagement across the country. And now you have an entire federal government that's following your lead, which is why we're here today, to follow your lead and to thank you. Now, because of you, in part, we have the Inflation Reduction Act, which we would not have had without you. And this is the most significant climate legislation in history anywhere in the world. IRA is the most ambitious and maybe the quirkiest climate law in the history of our nation. The Inflation Reduction Act itself will cut our polluting emissions to 40% below the 2005 levels in the next 7 years. That is by the end of this decade. In order to do that, we have to accept this huge challenge. Since we sit today, on this very day, at only 20% of where we need to be. But with additional federal action, plus increased leadership and the partnership from the private sector, from philanthropy, from states and cities, from all of you, we can go even further and meet President Biden's goals to cut our emissions fully by 50% and reach 100% clean power by 2035. Our goals are ambitious and they're challenging, and it will take an entire team effort. But what choice do we have? Just look at the weather we've all sustained in the last couple of weeks alone. It is like climbing Mount Everest. But we have the tools now, and we have each other. So we're looking forward to getting to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us today. In a little bit, we're going to be going into the atrium and then into the auditorium to begin our primary programming. Does anyone have, I think we do have a little bit of time, if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask while we have our featured guests here.
Can you talk about the impact that this will have on local businesses?
The impact that this will have on local businesses? Would one of you? Sure. Janet.
Yeah, I think it's because the implementation of the IRA is still happening. I think we're going to have a little bit of time before we can start measuring the economic impact. I can tell you, though, from the business recruitment pipeline that we're seeing at the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance, is we work to attract companies into the market. We're seeing significant investments. I mean, our pipeline alone at the Alliance is something north of $7 billion. There's 12,000 jobs represented in our pipeline, and the majority of that is in the EV-related sector. So I think the announcements we've seen recently in the state, from Toyota to Albemarle, which both is in North and South Carolina, headquartered here in Charlotte, of course, we continue to see the growth and the investment of these companies who are not only in the clean energy sector, but those who are going to be supplying, the country with that. And of course, Duke Energy, soon to be occupying its new headquarters across the street there, are doing a ton of work to help consumers. They have been for a long time, but they're making amazing energy advances as well.
I want to add that when we have a local business be successful, it's because they have people in our community that work with them and for them. And so what's really important is we're going through this process, the opportunities for workforce development that will be created, the opportunity for people to have a new career, upscaling into the idea of how do we sustain our city is going to make a major difference. So think about Arrival, think about Electrolux, think about all of these businesses that are going to be working hand in hand to create opportunity for people. We're going to train those people so that they can be a part of what this success means.
Do we have any other questions? All right. Thank you again for joining us. I'll ask our featured speakers if they can just hang out for a minute or two if anyone needs to follow up with additional information or wants to ask an individual question. But thank you for joining us very much today.